Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. And welcome everybody to my Independence Report. And this is a Monday, and it is the 9th of November, which means that we are past the election. And I'm very, very pleased that we are past the election now. And I have a good friend that we were going to be doing a lot of things with this particular individual in the future. And she's going to have her own show here and on my Independence Report, which is called Stacey Chillemi. What would you like to call our little shindig here?
I think For the Health of It would be great.
I think that would be good too. And so we are going to do For the Health of It. And it's something that you know a little bit about. Tell us about that, would you please?
Sure. I started at the age of 5. I had developed epilepsy. I had encephalitis that had traveled to the brain, and I was in a coma for 4 days. I came out, they thought I was going to be paraplegic, and they thought I was going to either be paraplegic or have brain damage. And I came out asking for McDonald's French fries. And, I struggled all my life with epilepsy. I learned as time went on how to live with it. And a big part of my life was when I worked with an herbal doctor, and he had me do a lot of research for him, and I was writing and researching for him, and a lot of the stuff seemed really interesting, and I started applying a lot of the natural healing to my own self, and my condition started getting better, and my health started getting better, and I started really focusing all my energy towards natural healing and healing the body naturally, and focusing on how we can actually improve our lives by what we put inside our bodies. And over time, I had decided to, with all the research I had done, I decided to write a book called, I wrote a health book, and I also named it after my website. And I had, worked tremendously, with a lot of people, and I didn't realize, but a lot of people are interested in natural healing. A lot of people don't want to have to rely on medication or drugs. They want to be able to heal themselves naturally if they can. Sometimes you can't be able to fully heal yourself naturally, and you do need medications to help assist you with different types of conditions. But, you really can actually do a lot to yourself when you actually start to, eat right, and when you change your lifestyle. And it's a great thing, to do that. And I spent my whole life dedicating all my energy into natural healing, and I'd like to talk about it with you, and talk about how it could heal so many other people.
Well, we have, I got to tell you, right now we have got the most peculiar situation. I've been around the planet for a while, and I cannot remember anything like what we're going through now. And
oh my God, yes.
By the way, you can tell your mom that she can call in now. I've fixed everything, so she's all. So I know she probably said, "I'm trying, but I can't get through." And by the way, if you'd like to talk to, this is live on YouTube, and if you'd like to talk to Stacey, you can by calling 206-408-1395 and tell us what you want to talk to her about, and we'll put you on the air with Stacey, because she's very gifted at what she does. We were talking about the COVID-19 and how difficult it's been for folks, and how, gosh, now they're doing 100,000 people a day or more are catching this thing. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about that because nobody can really come up with a way to help anybody, but how it's all tied to the immune system, isn't it?
It is, like if you could try to, it's not by having a good immune system does not mean that you're going to completely protect yourself from COVID, but it actually can, it might help. And right now, at this point of the game, we want to do everything we can to try to help ourselves and our body, so we can try to prevent this virus from occurring. But there's a lot of different strands, it seems. If you look at the virus and you study the virus from the beginning, when it first started around March, I believe it was. March is when the virus came out. And you look at it now, the virus definitely looks like it has decreased in the amount of how the seriousness. You saw a lot of more deaths in the beginning than you do now. You still see deaths, but you don't see as much as you did in the beginning. People were, sadly passing from left to right. And people, especially if they had a previous condition, and they had something that they were battling with themselves, their body seemed to be a little bit more weakened, and this virus blew a lot of people out of the water. And zinc is very good. Vitamin C is very good. Eating fruits and vegetables full of antioxidants is very good. Silver is great. That helps the immune system. And
Silver?
these are things. Silver, you could take a teaspoon of silver, and it's really good for you. You could look it up, and you can find out, the different companies that sell it, and it actually helps a lot. And it actually, a lot of people claim that when they do take it, they see that they overcome any illness or sickness that they have in half the time than they normally have it.
Now, when we're talking about silver, we're talking about like silver.
Silver. Silver. Yeah.
So like if you start eating dimes, that won't work though. You need
No. We're talking about the mineral, and you have to have it extracted a certain way. So don't go melting any change or anything like that.
Yeah, or like that one guy said, drink bleach or whatever he was talking about. That you can't do that either.
No, you can't do that either. No, a
So
little toxic.
that's very interesting. So what does silver have to offer us?
It helps boost the immune system. It helps with, people, if you speak to functional doctors, they will tell you about silver and all the benefits. Off the top of my head, I can't think of all the benefits that it carries, but the main thing, it does help boost the immune system, and it does help fight illnesses. And a lot of times people feel that they overcame something in half the amount of time because their body, it helped fight it. So this is something to consider and to look into. And there's different companies that make the silver. You can buy it, and they have like liquid form and other forms, and you can put it in the refrigerator, take a teaspoon when you need it, and it's very helpful.
I would like to talk a little bit about, because of your expertise, there is in this country, of course, we just had an election. We have a new president-elect, and the old president has got politicized the wearing of masks. Would you talk a little bit about why wearing masks is not a political statement? It is a health statement, and why it can be so beneficial.
Wearing a mask is very important because you really want to protect others from your germs, and you want, the virus can be transmitted through the nasal passages, through the mouth, through the germs of the eyes. And, that's why you see some people wearing the goggles, or they have the little shields, but you can't just do it just with that. You need to have your mask on. You need to cover your nose, cover your mouth. If you're infected, you want to keep those germs from transmitting to someone else that could be close to you. And, this is, by wearing masks, this is one way that we can protect ourselves and protect others, and not transmit it, as quick and as vast as we have in the past.
You know, you like to think that when you talk and when you shout and when you cough and stuff, that they're not spewing all this material that comes out of your face. I'm learning that when we talk, even we have a lot of material that comes out of us that floats in the air.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of mucus and germs that come out from our nasal passages and through our mouth, and you know, we can actually transmit it very easily, and it can go into the pores, into the bloodstream, into the person. And I believe, you know, from what I last heard, you know, when germs get on your hands and it's touched to a different surface, it could last a couple hours before those germs die. So, you know, it's constantly, you know, you need to really wash your hands and sterilize your hands if you're out. You know, they have these little things, you know, that you can just, you know, to sterilize the germs from your hands. You can click it onto your, you know, click it onto your pocketbook or your waist side, and you have, you know, a sanitizer where you can sanitize your hands, make it easy access for you. And you know, you will constantly want to sanitize your hands, and you want to keep as little, you know, live germs with the COVID virus away from you, and you want to do everything you can to prevent it. So those are ways to prevent it.
It gives a whole new meaning to kissing, doesn't it?
Yeah, have they been tested? You might want to ask that before you kiss the person. Have you been tested?
It's 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 like, well, not only that, it's like, you know, you think, well, we're just kissing, but when you get that close to a person, you're exchanging bodily fluids with that person in a really unique
Yeah.
way.
Anything, any germs from you that go onto another person's pores or skin, you know, it seeps into their body and goes into their bloodstream, and you know, the other person can be easily affected. That's why you see so many different types of viruses and different sicknesses transmit so easily to one another, because it's very easy to transmit germs from one person to the next person.
So overall, we're kind of gross, you know that.
Yeah, pretty much. But if the animals could do it, we could do it. What the hell?
Well, that's true. That's true. So if you were to give somebody some thoughts on what they should buy, how they should take it, how can they monitor themselves to get through this, because we're entering into probably what they're talking about is this is the worst part of the epidemic since it started last, what is it, February, March?
Yes, I believe it was right after the first week of March, I think it started.
Yeah, so this is, and by the way, 235,000 people have died in 8 months.
It's
That's
crazy. Yeah,
that's horrible. So, can you give us
exactly.
some direction now? Social distancing and wearing masks. No, go guys. It's not a political thing. It is a survival thing. It's something
Yes,
that everybody needs to do to protect themselves, and more importantly, old people like me and stuff, because you can't because I can't go out of my house. I can't go see my son. I can't go, and really you can't go anywhere really. So but give some our listeners some tips on how they can avoid this thing.
well, you know, even the younger folks think they're infallible, and they're not. You know, I just recently, you know, it happened about maybe about a month and a half ago. You know, someone I knew, you know, their son passed, and he's my age,
Oh, you're
and you
kidding.
know, and he passed from the virus, you know, and you just don't know. You really don't know. And even with younger kids, we don't know what the long-term effects are. So even if the young kids get it and they're able to fight it, what type of damage could it do on your lungs or your heart, you know, in the future? Will you be able to withstand any other type of, you know, virus or illness that strikes you later on in life because you had COVID at one time in your life? We don't know what it's going to do to us long term. So why, you know, you don't want to find out. You don't want to take chances. You want to take as many precautions as you can. You want to wash your hands consistently. You want to be able to use a sanitizer whenever possible. You want to keep one on handy, like you tie it to your belt buckle, put it in your pocketbook. They have lots of things you can do. You want to have a sanitizer, you want to wear a mask consistently. I know they're uncomfortable, but you have to wear them because it's a way to protect yourself from other infected germs. You don't want to infect somebody, and you don't want somebody to infect you. And it's very easy. If someone sneezes or coughs, if they don't have a mask on, if you don't have a mask on, could easily be, transmitted to the other person, and you have to be careful when you're in stores too. You're walking by somebody, you just don't know, it's scary. It's scary that we have to live like this. But for now, they just completed a vaccine. They're in the ending stages. I believe they're getting ready to, do whatever they need to do before they know it's safe for individuals to actually, incorporate it and take it in. But right now they have a vaccine, and they're finishing up the finishing touches, and hopefully it'll be available very soon to the public. And we have to just, and we have to be careful, because even vaccines can be, dangerous too. There are times when vaccines have, had, adverse effects on some people. Not everybody responds the same way. So we have to be, we have to be careful. So the best way to be careful at first is to take care of yourself, and to make sure that, you're well protected, and make sure that you tell your family and your friends, and tell them to be, protective too, because there's a lot of people, when you go out, they don't wear masks, and they don't care, and they don't think it's a big deal, and they don't think it's as bad as the media is making it, but it is. And we have to take precautions.
They think it's not. They think it's more of a political statement that you're a real weenie if you have to wear a mask, because you're not tough, you're not strong, you're not, you're following the media. Fortunately, I'm hoping that those days are going to be over soon, because you know President Trump did like 17 events in the 3 days leading up to the election, and there were literally thousands and thousands of people at these events that were not socially distanced. They weren't wearing masks. I'm worried that in the next couple of weeks, because it's always a couple of weeks behind the transmission, that there's going to be huge outbreaks in these places among these people who put
Right.
their trust in somebody like that, when you have to listen to the science.
Yes, and it's a lot of times when you take a test, it might not come out in the beginning positive. If you are positive, sometimes it takes 7 to 9 days, to actually evolve enough where the test can actually detect the virus in your body. So even if you take it once, you should go again just to make sure. You don't know, you just really don't know. And it's foolish, not to, we're interacting with people every single day, and if you run to the food store, or you have to go, do something, you're interacting with people, you should, take precautions. And if you don't feel right, then get a test, make sure that you don't have it.
Well, and I've also heard that there's something called the long term, folks that catch this and it's a long term deal, that it affects more than just the respiratory system, that it affects stuff all over. What do you know about that?
I heard that it can affect the brain. I don't know much info on it, but it can affect the heart, the lungs, and I heard it also can affect the brain as well.
Yikes! That is just a scary thought, isn't it? That,
Yeah, it's very scary.
especially and that's why they're finding more about it now, and so they're learning more about it now. But for the kids out there that are saying to themselves, "I'm tough, I'm young, I'm
Infallible.
infallible." Thank you. I wish I could say that. Talk a little bit about that.
A lot of times I even think back to when I was, a young kid. I didn't think anything could knock me down, and I thought I could do everything, and that's the way you think at a young age. At least most children, most young adults think like that, but it's not true. And, it's not until you're actually knocked down that you realize, hey, I'm not infallible. But, you shouldn't wait till that point. Why ruin your entire life, when you could actually, do something to protect it now? There are so many people, like even in my kids' colleges, kids are getting it left and right. Even the professors are getting them, and why even take the chance, protect yourself. It's not fun. College years are supposed to be the best years, high school years are supposed to be the best years. But when something like this happens, we have to, we have to use our sensibility and just do what's realistic, and protecting yourself and protecting, the people you care about is realistic. And if you go to a party and you come home, the people who you live with are going to be infected, possibly infected, because you don't know who has been who has been where, and I've heard cases like that where people have, young kids have gone to a party and somebody was infected, and then a whole crew of them got infected, and it's just not, it's why take the chance if you don't have to, when you don't even know what this we don't, even the scientists and the researchers don't even know everything about this virus. So why are you going to even take the chance to risk your life and to risk your health and, the longevity of your health? It makes no sense.
Talk about something that some folks are talking about. They call it herd immunity. Can you talk about herd immunity a little bit, and how this may or may not be subject to that?
I'm not really too familiar with herd immunity. Can you tell me a little about that?
From what I understand, herd immunity is the concept that as more of the population gets the virus and develops an immunity to it,
Mm-hmm.
that it will that fewer people will get it, because when it gets to 60% or 70% of the population that have had it, they've built up antibodies to it, and so they don't get sick, and so the event goes down. But from what I'm hearing is that the immunity to this virus is short-lived. Have you been hearing that too?
Well, I personally know two people that got the virus, and they had went for the antibody test, and they showed that they had the antibodies. So it showed that they had the virus, more than, once. And this is the second time that they showed positive for the virus. So they actually had it more than once. So when I analyze this myself, I'm not a doctor, but when I look at this virus, it looks to me like it has a lot of different strands to it. And if you see in the beginning, it was very fierce, and now it's starting to die off a little, and it's getting a little bit less fierce, and it was changing consistently as time goes on. So when I look at that, I think of the flu in itself. The flu has thousands of different strands, but when they make a vaccine for the flu, it only covers specific strands that are most prevalent for that season. Like, what's happening that year is what they focus on. But, you could possibly get a strand outside of that vaccine that they actually made. You could be the one that is less likely to get this one, but you got it, and so I'm thinking, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a virus, that has a lot of different strands to it, and that, I'm thinking someone could definitely get it more than once, and they might just get a different strand of it, so who knows how frequent you can get it, how, spaced out. Is it 6 months? Is it 6 weeks? We don't know. At least I don't know that. I haven't heard anything.
No, they don't know that. Well, we haven't even gone through a complete season or a complete year of this, so we don't know what it's going to do in the spring or in the summer and stuff, or if we're going to be able to control it with the vaccine
Right.
long term. And so again, wear a mask, socially distance. You're not being a, excuse the expression, you're not being a pussy. You're doing the right thing to keep other people safe and to keep other people alive and to keep
Exactly.
yourself alive. Um,
Yes.
so let's talk about Stacey and what we're going to be doing every Monday on or about noon from now on.
Well, I hope to be covering a lot of important topics, and I hope that a lot of people out there will even give us some input of what they want to hear. And topics that mean a lot to them definitely mean a lot to us. And I definitely, would like to talk about prevalent topics that are going on in society, health wise, that we can talk about that can help people with a lot of different issues that, that society is battling itself. And we're planning on getting together every Monday and talking to people on YouTube, and then recording it and putting the recorded version on YouTube so people can actually see it if they missed the show. But we're going to be talking about a lot of important topics that mean a lot to people, and that's a lot of important information that will be actually very helpful to people, to help them improve their lives mentally, physically, and spiritually.
So, like when the show is live, like it is actually right now being broadcast across YouTube, and it is the way it's set up, you can actually call in to ask Stacey a question when we are live, which is going to be noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern on Mondays. And you can give us a call live there. That number is 206 408 1395. You can also go to YouTube and send us a text message if you have a question. But if you're listening to this and it's not noon or 3 o'clock Eastern on Mondays, just put that in your calendar to come in and talk to us. You can also email Stacey if you have a question for her that you want us to talk about on the show. How do they do that?
Well, they can email me through Stacey at staceychillemi.com, and that's STACEYCHILLEMI.com. Or they can email me at editor@thecompleteherbalguide.com, and I will answer any questions they have. Or they could just, when we post the recorded version of the video, they can leave it in the comment box below, and we will get to all their questions and, anything that they, have to ask.
By the way, or if you would just like to go to her website, which is
thecompleteherbalguide.com.
that's what it is. Because you've got to tell us about that website, what you've done with it.
Well, like I was mentioning in the beginning of this show, because I was trying to give a lot of information in the beginning, but my website is called thecompleteherbalguide.com, and it's based on the book that I wrote, thecompleteherbalguide.com, because when I was doing a lot of research on natural healing, and I was doing a lot of research on plants and herbs and changing your lifestyle, there was a lot of really interesting information, and I applied a lot of that stuff to my own life, and it was working. So I put together a 500-page book, and it talked about all these different herbs and plants and different lifestyle changes and alternative medicine, to teach people about the history of it, to teach it about what it does, and also the precautions, because people have to remember, when you take herbal supplements and you try plants and you do these teas, you could have side effects, and some of these can be a little dangerous, and some of them you shouldn't even try. And then there are some that, if you're taking medication, you have to make sure the medication is not going to interact with, these herbal supplements, because a lot of the medications, they don't realize the pharmaceuticals use a lot of herbal supplements in their medications. So they could be interactions, and you have to make sure before you try something that if you take medication, it's, okay. And then I list a lot of those precautions in the book. And when I published that book, I started a little website, and that website grew and grew and grew, and today we have a very big website with a lot of articles. We have thousands of articles on there about everything you can think of, from recipes to health to fitness to exercise to herbal supplements, to having experts write articles and share with readers on their own views and experience. So they can come to thecompleteherbalguide.com, and there is something there for everyone.
How long did it take you to put together a 500-page book with all the research you had to do?
The research itself took me over 3 years to do. So it took me close to 5 years to write that book.
Wow. And the reviews on it have been extraordinary, haven't they?
Yeah, I was that book was a bestseller for a while on Amazon. It did really well. People were really interested in it, and people really, they want to understand, not just, take this and you'll feel better. Well, what is it? Where does it come from? How is it going to help? What should I watch out for? And those are things that I really try to cover throughout the entire book. And it's all about, learning. I feel this way, maybe, this will help it, and so I try to, teach people a little about herbal supplements. And then in my next book, I talked about different conditions and what would be good for those conditions, to kind of break it down in a more easier, way for people. Instead of having a 500-page book, we had like a 250-page book, but it had, we listed, conditions from acne, to high blood pressure, to, to all different things, and, to teach people, well, I feel this way today. Well, maybe what could I do naturally that might actually, help benefit my health, and things like that. But there are things we can do daily to help ourselves and to help our body. So, come onto the website and find out what you could do to actually improve your health and your longevity.
That which we're all into longevity. If we
Yeah.
can figure out how to live a little bit longer, that would be great. Now, I wanted to ask you also, do you talk about in your writings, do you talk about the difference between taking a substance, taking a pill, or the absorption rate of different ways of taking medication, of how you can do how your body can absorb things better?
I have on my website, we have some articles written about that, because there are, different ways that your body will absorb it better. Especially like, a lot of people take gummies, but a lot of times they don't realize, a lot of times the gummy is just the gummy, and then they put the stuff on the top of the gummy, and it tastes a lot better and it's easier to digest, but then you might not be getting as much as you think you are per gummy. And capsules are good, and they dissolve in your body. And then, but you have liquid potent is very good. And that's, from my understanding, liquid potent, it tends to be the best, absorption. It has the best absorption rate. And but a lot of people don't like the taste. Some of those things can be pretty tough. Like iodine, I would take iodine because it's good for your health. And I tried it one time. My doctor gave it to me as a liquid form. Never again. I couldn't do it. I kept with the capsules and just kept going.
Yeah, that's one of the things they say, that like with pharmaceutical medication and stuff, that they've discovered that a lot of that ends up in the sewer system. That's because it passes right through us, and it's not absorbed the way. So absorption is key to getting the best outcome of the medications you take, I
And
would.
also knowing your body too, because like some people don't break things down very well, and then you have to understand how your body breaks things down, and what your body agrees with and what it doesn't agree with, and try to work around that as well, because I knew someone that their body just didn't break down food the way it was supposed to, and didn't break down medications and a lot of things the way it was supposed to. And it's we have to take time out to understand our bodies and how our bodies work. And once we understand our bodies, we could actually do a lot of good for our bodies.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about really cool things like irritable bowel disease, and ways to help with that, and all
Mhm.
kinds of different stuff that is now on the mainstream TV. It didn't used to be. When I was young, they never did any of that kind of stuff. They never put any of that kind of stuff on TV. Now they
Never.
now they do it all. They do it all.
They, they do
Yeah.
it all.
So, by the way, she is Stacey Chillemi. She is a very talented young lady, and I am just excited that you want to work with me and that we're going to put this together every Monday, because I really think that you can help people to a great degree.
Well, I hope so. I really, I enjoy helping others. And, over the course of my years, I've done a lot for, to help others understand themselves, understand their bodies, understand how to change their lifestyles in order to improve their health and to improve their mentality. And, I hope that I can reach out to others and give them the same, ability to improve, to be able to improve their lives and to improve everything about themselves that they want to improve. So I'm hoping that this turns out to be a very successful and wonderful journey.
It will be. You can find us on My Independence Report. You can also either on the podcast or on YouTube, and you can also go to Stacey Chillemi's YouTube site, which is called.
It's the Complete Herbal Guide, and you can find it. Yeah, it's all about natural healing, and if you type that in, you pop right in. So just put the Complete Herbal Guide on there, and the website should pop up.
You have.
And if you,
Go ahead.
no, I was saying if you can't find it for whatever reason, you can just go on the website itself, and it'll link you right over there.
You have got how many videos do you have up there now?
We have several hundred up there. It's a lot.
Well, you and this will be fun. You're going to tap into a whole new audience, hopefully. But I really want this to be an interactive thing, so you can call when we're on the air from on Mondays, 3:00 Eastern, by calling 206-408-1395. We really encourage you to call, talk to Stacey, and she can kind of fill you in on what you need to know about things that'll help you live life just a little bit better. That's what I think, anyway. So that's good. Yeah.
I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Is there anything that you would like to add before we go for today?
No, I think we pretty much, we covered the main things. We talked a little about COVID to help people understand it. If people are stressing out and they want to find out ways to, how to cope with the stress of COVID, they can come on maybe next week and we can talk a little about that and talk about different techniques and tools to use to actually help you, in this stressful time that we all are living in.
I think that the stress level that we are all under, because you can't go out, you can't go anywhere. It's so sad, Stacey, because when
Yeah,
I have to wear a mask when I go out, and I generally like to smile at people,
me
and,
too.
and I like to say hi, and
Yeah,
and you can't do that, and also people are now scared of each other. It's like if you think you're walking into somebody, everybody just kind of jumps out of the way and stuff, and nobody wants to say hello to anybody. It's a
yep.
really sad place that we're in right now. I hope we can get over it fast.
I hope so too. Definitely do.
So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for being part of the show today. And again, this is Stacey Chillemi's show, and we're going to be talking a lot about it. And the show is going to be titled "For the Health of It," or just for the health of it, or something like that. It's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to it. And Stacey, it's a pleasure meeting you. Which we did a little while back. It's going to be more of a pleasure working with you, and you're just very talented, and you've been working at this for a long time, and your whole desire, near as I can tell, is to help folks live life just a little bit better. Would that be right?
It is right. Yes.
And that's both of our missions, and my mission is to bring people like you out, and so I appreciate it. And with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and wear a mask, please. Take care of each other, because each other's all we got.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other, because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.